Hey everybody, how are you? Good morning. It's still morning. It feels like afternoon. I've been up forever. But I have to get up early because I like to walk before it gets too hot. Sometimes I'm not that crazy about the idea of walking and I would rather sit and knit, but my dog needs to walk at least as much as I need to walk. So it's always good. Hi, Pat. How are you? Hi, Bee. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today I had a question from a knitter about counting rows in between decreases or increases or anything like that when you are shaping your fabric. So typically when you are shaping a fabric, you are going to go from one size to a larger size. So you're going to angle out your fabric like this. And in order to make that angle nice and smooth, they direct you to increase over a regular number of rows. So your pattern will say something like increase every fourth row 5 times or every 8th row 6 times. We have a pattern that we're doing for the My First Sweater class where the pattern repeat happens every 8th row. So just wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to do that every so many rows and how to count those rows, because I think it can be confusing sometimes. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Lori. So by convention, you typically begin your shaping, whether it's increases or decreases, on the right side. So your right side is facing you, and you're going to do an increase at the beginning and an increase at the end of that right side row. So for me, I don't count that first row. I have that as my increase row. And then let's say the increase is to be every 6 rows. So I do my increase, and my next purl row is purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. And then my next right side row will be my 6th row, and that's where I do my increase. Similarly, if you have 4 increases, you're going to do it. You're going to do your increase, and then you're going to have purl, knit, purl, and then your next right side row will be your 4th row, and that's where you're going to do your increase or your decrease. Sometimes the patterns are not that clear in the way they describe. So sometimes they'll say something like every alternate right side row. Okay, so think about that. Alternate right side row. So that's basically, you're going to do your decrease on your right side row. You're going to purl. Then you're going to knit. That'll be your next right side row, but you're not going to do a decrease or increase there. Then you'll purl, and then you'll do your next increase or decrease on that right side row. It's the same as saying on every 4th row, because every other right side row is every 4th row, right? So you just kind of have to think about what they're saying and sort of read it over and over in a way that is useful for you. Because I think it really is confusing. Do you count that row that you made your first increase on? All of those things. So you just have to kind of develop a system that works for you. And for me, since most shaping happens, as I said, on the right side row, it's really helpful to just sort of think in terms of that shaping happening on that first row and then counting and doing it again on the 4th or 6th or 8th or whatever the prescribed row that you work your every increase or decrease on. Does that make sense? So one thing I wanted to say also and to share with you is sometimes the pattern math doesn't work out such that they can have you do your increases every even number of rows. So sometimes the shape of the pattern and oh my goodness, there's my phone. Sometimes the shape of the fabric and the number of rows available and the number of increases or decreases that you need actually comes out to something like every 7th row or every 9th row or every 5th row. And if they were to tell you to do a decrease every 5th row, What that means is that you're going to have to, sometimes that decrease is going to fall on the right side, and sometimes it's going to fall on the wrong side. So sometimes you would have to do an increase or a decrease on the knit side, and then the next time you'd have to do it on the purl side. But one of the ways that designers get around that is to have you alternate. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a pattern, because when you come across this, I've had more questions about this concept and this pattern in particular, which is the no plain Jane cardigan. So this is really confusing. So let me share my screen and I will show you what I am talking about. Okay. So here we are, and we have this sleeve instruction. It says, knit in pattern for the side shaping, increase 1 stitch at each end of alternate every 14th and 16th row 8 times. Okay, great. I think that's really confusing for a lot of people. So what they're basically saying is, we wish that you could increase every 15th row, because that's how the math works out, okay? But it's too confusing for me to have to write that pattern that way, giving you guidance on how to do an increase knitwise, how to do an increase purlwise, blah, blah, blah. So they've just said, do your increase every 14th row, and then go 16 rows. They don't mean go 14 rows and then 2 more rows. So they don't mean the 14th and then the 16th. They mean go 14 rows and do your increase, and then go 16 rows and do your increase, and then 14 rows and then 16 rows, and so forth. Does that make sense? So a lot of times they will just do it this way, and the writing of it is confusing. I get it. It's absolutely a nightmare when you come across that. But if you just sort of think in terms of, they're trying to make it easier for you as a knitter, so that you don't have to make your shaping on the right side and then on the wrong side. So it's just a matter of learning the language. You know, a knitting pattern is a kind of a different language. But once you know the basics, you know, when you're going to another country, you need to know how to say good morning, hello, excuse me, please, thank you so much. How much does this cost? Where's the train station? Where's the bathroom? So once you know kind of those basics, you can navigate around and through and sort of find your way. And the more patterns that you work from, and the more that you knit, the more comfortable you will become with the language of knitting patterns. So I hope that helps you understand how increases and decreases and row counting work a little bit. I have some comments, so let's have a look-see. All right. What does Miss Ellen say? Hi, off topic. Oh, sorry. We'll talk about that after, Ellen. Thanks so much. Hi, Karen. Yes, it's very confusing, isn't it? So confusing. So yes, explaining and knitting language. Yes. So one of the things about sweater knitting is this whole language thing. I think knitting scarves and shawls, sometimes the pattern is a little easier to understand, but knitting a sweater, it's sort of fraught with a lot of angst, because, you know, it's a sweater, it's a garment, you want it to fit you. And that's why I've put together the My First Sweater class. And I've been so careful with this class to make sure that I'm going over all of the kind of fundamentals of making a sweater that are really going to help you. If you've not made a sweater before, or maybe you have, but you don't feel confident about making a sweater on your own, I think this is going to be a really good class, and it's going to tell you not just what to do, but a lot of the why to do it. So even if you've knit sweaters before, I think it would be kind of a fun class if you feel like you would like to maybe go back and look at some of those basics that you can have forever and ever. And, you know, it's kind of fun to knit something with a whole group of us. So look for that. And if that's something that is interesting to you, go ahead and sign up I'll be doing a special kind of live kickoff on the 22nd. So that'll be kind of fun for the first people who sign up. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. It's not for everybody. If you're already a pro sweater knitter and you can knit a sweater in your sleep and whatever, that's great. It also focuses on seaming, which I'm huge on. I'm a big fan of seamed sweaters, classic construction, and the way that they fit. So that's kind of my thing on that. So did anybody have any questions that I needed to address? All right, Pat is asking, would this sweater class be live? No, Pat, this is actually what they call an asynchronous class. So you can sign up for it and you can take it anytime you like. So it's always there for you. I'm talking to you just like this in the class. So it kind of feels live, but the beauty is that you never have to worry about showing up for a class. You never have to worry if you feel like you're going to miss a class, or maybe like you don't live nearby and you can't be here. So it's a nice way to kind of connect and be part of a sweater knitting community. All right, Kathy, that's a good class for you. Yeah. Okay. Well, that would be fun. It would be great to see you in there for your first sweater. Guys, this is a super, super simple class. The sweater is super easy. It's not meant to be intimidating, and it's not meant to teach you everything you need to know about sweater knitting. It's simply a nice place to get started and to learn and to build your confidence on making a garment that fits you. So that's something to think about. You can see it on the website. The class is there. Hey, Megs, how nice to see you. Yes, and B points out you can watch it over and over again. I didn't mean for this to turn into a commercial for the class, but yes, you can absolutely watch it over and over again, which is nice. Yay, good. I'm glad you're going to take the class, Pat. I would be happy to see you. And we'll be doing a lot more. What is the sweater? Oh, you know what? I'm going to show the sweater soon. I actually have it on the blocking board, so I will show that to you. But you can see a picture of it on the website if you go there, Karen. I think it's really cute. And what else was I going to tell you? Anyway, I'm so glad that you guys are here, and I hope you are excited about this idea of a class, a virtual class that you can own, and you don't have to worry about showing up because it feels live. It's funny because I've been recording all of the lessons and looking back. I mean, I think it's going to feel very live, but and you have the confidence of knowing that you can go back and see any of the sections at any time. And you can also ask questions in real time. So those come right to my email. And you know that I obsessively have my phone and answer emails like that. So I think that's going to be kind of a good format. And I'm doing more and more of these. I'm going to do one of the most requested classes now with the pandemic. This is really kind of, I think, the best way for us to move forward and to reach people who are not local. Is the reading your knitting and fixing your mistakes class. So look for that coming. And then I have a class on flawless finishing. And then I have a class on your next sweater. So like I said, this first sweater is super easy, super simple. No shaping. It's just a nice, easy fit garment. So, all right. So I am almost about out of time. If there were any questions that I had from you, I would be happy to answer them real quick. Ginny. Oh, yes. Okay. Don't forget Shibui. Yes. Okay. So thank you. The Shibui event tomorrow night at 7:00. It's going to be a live event like this. I have Sandy Barnes from Shibui joining me, and we're going to do a tasting. We're going to look at each of the yarns. If you want a tasting kit, it's probably not too late to order those. Ginny has those available at the shop right now. I have a beautiful beautiful trunk show, actually 2 trunk shows from Shibui for tomorrow night that I want to share with you. One of them is their spring line featuring designs by Shelley Anderson and Sivia Harding. So some really beautiful summer garments. And then there are also, I have the Julie Hoover garments from the winter collection. And she has her whole custom color selection, and they are so, so beautiful. We had a fun time pulling those out of the box on Sunday and playing with them. So I'm excited about sharing that with you guys. I'm interested in hearing about what else maybe you like to see on Wednesday nights or Tuesdays. If you have questions that you would like me to address on these lunchtime lives, I'm happy to do that. And yeah. So there we are. I will see you guys tomorrow night, I hope at 7 o'clock. That'll be lots of fun. And if you do not have a tasting kit yet, or you're far enough away that it's not going to get there in time, please don't worry. If you want to do it, you can absolutely order the tasting kit, and the live will still be there. It'll be there on Facebook. It'll be there on YouTube, and you can watch it whenever you like. And you can stop it and knit along with it. Or we do go pretty quickly through the yarns. So if you watch it later, you can stop and you can knit it up and see what you think. And so it's really fun. So I like to have a lot going on, but I do know that it's a lot going on. So until tomorrow night, I am looking forward to seeing you then. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep knitting and create something beautiful. Thanks so much.